Welcome to INN CEO Talks. Joining me today is Jeffrey Reeder, the Chairman, CEO, and a Director of Peruvian Metals, which trades on the TSX Venture under the symbol PER and on the U.S. exchange under the symbol DUVNF. Mr. Reeder is a Canadian professional who, after graduating from the University of Alberta in the early 90s, went on to have a very successful career with over 27 years of experience in mining in Peru. Peruvian Metals owns an 80% interest in the Aguila Norte Process Plant that is strategically located just off the Pan American Highway near Peru's second largest city in the northern part of the country. Abundant small-scale mining activity occurs in the region, but there are very few independent processing facilities available. So the Aguila Norte Mineral Processing Plant hosts crushing, milling, gravity separation, and flotation circuits with an initial throughput capacity of 100 tons per day. Peruvian Metals is currently processing high-grade polymetallic material and delivering high-value concentrates available for sale to the Peruvian metal trading market for miners. So Peruvian Metals and its experienced team have been identifying multiple sources of mineral feed to fill the initial process plant capacity. The company is well advanced to receive full permits and licenses, which will enable the expansion of the processing plant. An expansion is expected to be funded by internal cash flow from plant profitability. Joining me now is Jeffrey Reeder. Jeffrey, thank you for joining me. Let's talk about that right out of the starting gate. Why is this important that you're able to self-fund, and why does that make what you're doing so attractive to potential investors?
Well, as you mentioned in your first part, is I have 27 years experience in Peru. I'm an exploration geologist, but I noticed back several years ago that junior companies always have to go back to the market, raise money continuously, and I'm a big shareholder of the company. I'm the third largest. I own close to about 10%, and we needed to do something different, and we realized that the small miner in Peru needed areas to process their mineral, and we constructed a plant in northern Peru, and we've been processing third-party ore. We're profitable at that, but we also, with the miners bringing the mineral to our plant, we also got a tremendous amount of experience and a lot of contacts that have allowed us to expand our mineral claims, because we're also a project generator. So I'm out claiming areas quite a bit. And I believe in the year 2022, we're going to start processing a lot of mineral from our own concessions. But in the last 3 years, we've been processing mineral from third-party ore. That got us in the door. We got profitability. We haven't had any. Our last big raise was 2018. We did a small raise in 2020 after the COVID restrictions were lifted. But we do not need to go to the market for raising money. We're generating our projects ourselves with internal cash flow. We've sold some projects. We've done some other not joint ventures, but we've sold some of our other projects to other juniors, and that will bring in cash flow, because our focus is 100% of our mineral going through our plant will eventually be our own mineral. And that's where we're going to head to in the next couple of years, and we're on that track right now.
Can you tell us more about what you're looking at? Because anybody would say, okay, that's great, Jeffrey, but where are you looking, and what do those prospects look like?
Okay, so obviously nearby, the closest to the plant is most important. So we've been looking in northern Peru, and we've got the high-grade Palta Dorada project that we have a joint venture with 50% ownership with another junior company called Real Silver, and how we did this is that we are doing a bulk sample right now. We should be treating this ore this month or early February. That it's a high-grade gold, silver, copper ore. It's located only 145 kilometers from the plant, so we're going to be doing at least a bulk sample, and eventually, if we can get up to 30 to 50 to 100 tons a day at that plant or at that project, shipping costs are only $20 a ton. Is all along highway. So we're going after the high grade, and the margins are very good. We have the processing plant which we obviously control, but most importantly, that will increase our margins significantly compared to what we're doing with third party ore right now. And we're working on some other projects. We stake a lot of claims, like apply for applications, and we buy a few claims and we pay them out with cash payments, so we can actually take 100% ownership of these properties. So our goal is to mine our own properties, small scale mining, and a lot of these projects in Peru that started small scale projects can turn into large ones. So we might get lucky here, and one of our smaller projects can turn into a significant cash flow producer for our company.
So investors right now are saying, okay, you got tightly held share structure. You're not planning on going back to the market. What makes now the right time for me to purchase stock in your company?
Well, if you take a look at companies like Dynacor right now, Dynacor is another processing company down in Peru. They have maybe a $120 million market cap, where we have a $20 million market cap. They're buying gold ore. They're buying ore from the miners that are oxide gold treating it. But what we're doing is we're buying sulfide ore. So we're buying silver, lead, zinc, and copper ores mainly. And if silver, we believe that silver is going to be very profitable. We're going to be buying this mineral from the small miners. Plus, we actually have our own projects that will eventually replace that. So it's really, if we're profitable right now treating third-party ore, once we start buying ore and treating that ore, and when we start treating our own ore, our margins will be significantly higher than they are now, and we're profitable now. So we're a growth company rather than a value. We're not going to go out there spending money on drilling, expensive drill programs, stuff like that. Our goal is to take a look at these veins, drift along the veins, take the mineral to our plant, and to process it. And that's the thing. So, we are sitting with a 20 million Canadian market cap. And you look at other companies, and we don't have to go to the back of the market. 50% of our stock is held by reporting insiders. And not needing to go back to the market, I think it's a great entry point for everybody.
Okay, so also let's talk about what's happening in South America right now. We've seen a change in government in Chile, just to the south of Peru. How stable is the Chilean mining environment? And also, what's it look like now as we're into almost 2 full years of COVID? Because Peru got hit pretty hard a couple of years ago. Are things improving there? And then what does that do for you as a company?
Okay, so there was a new government that came in Peru, and we're dealing with the small miners, and the Peruvian government, the new Peruvian government, is really helping out the small people more than the large companies. So who's worried about the change in government? It's the bigger companies. Well, we're working with the small miners. The small miners are flourishing in Peru right now, and the COVID, yes, it knocked everybody back a little bit, but people got to eat down there, and we put in all our COVID restrictions that affected us, but we're back to normal. 2021 was our best year, and when the COVID restrictions were lifted in mid-June or mid-2020, from then on we've been almost doing 90% plant capacity, and it hasn't really affected us. Actually, we are stronger than we ever been, and the Peruvian government is really there for the smaller miners, and they're allowing them to go and mine their own ore under certain regulations. We have to still follow that, but they have to pay their taxes and stuff like this. And bringing it to our plant is what makes sure that minerals being processed, legal minerals being processed, and eventually we will be processing our own mineral. That's the goal.
You know, on this program, I've never interviewed anybody who's in the position that you're in right now, where you've got an operating plant. And you're saying, I'm not out for money. I'm here to tell you the story about our company, how we're growing and where we're growing. What's the number one thing that you want viewers to take away from this interview?
Well, management and my company, we have a very tight shareholder base. We had our AGM last in December. 67% of the votes were cast. So I like to tell people that I know where 67% of the stock is with a few phone calls. I do not want to go to the market. I've been doing that all my life. I've been working for junior resource businesses for all my life. And I always write checks. When I'm asking somebody to write a check, I'm going to have to write a check as well. And I just don't want to do that anymore. And I think that I can grow this company on internal cash flow. I'm 100% focused on this business, and I have some very good discoveries under my belt using my geology. And we have a great metallurgical team, and I've hired a few mining people right now. So we're starting to be a really integrated company where it's got the geology, the metallurgy, and the mining side there. And we're going to grow this company over the next several years. And I'm only going to go to the market if there's an extraordinary reason to do that. But I'm going to build this company as much as I can and get people to look at the stock and saying, you know, we don't want to go to the market. I don't want to go and dilute the company, because I think every time when you go and dilute, it's a bit of a failure. So it's a real business where our revenues exceed our costs, and that's what's going to grow our company. And in 2022, we're going to increase the margins. My goal is to increase the margins, but continue looking at high grade opportunities inside Peru, because we've been there for 27 years, and the same crew's been working with me ever since then. So, you know, we have a tremendous amount of deal flow coming through our company, especially when they come in and say, we want to bring mineral to your plant, Jeff. But I'm saying, well, you know, my plant's full of third-party ore. I don't want it anymore. So let's try to increase our margins by associating with these small miners, and that's what we're doing.
Wow, fascinating story. And I hope you'll come back and give us an update in a few months, telling us that, you know, that you're exceeding expectations. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you very much.